How is it going, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my Fiesta Bowl recap video. And who saw this coming? Central Florida wins 52-42 over Baylor, and this caps their best season of their football program in history, and actually caps the best season of Baylor's football history too. But I mean, Central Florida came out of nowhere this season, out of nowhere. And you got to think, yes, they win this game. It's a big win, 52-42, but you got to go back and think. If they beat South Carolina, and they were beating South Carolina down pretty bad, and South Carolina came back and beat them, and it was a close game, it ended up being a field goal game. But if Central Florida wins that game, they could have very, very easily played in the national championship against Florida State. Yes, there would have been a bunch of arguments for Florida State, for Auburn to jump them, etc., etc., but you got to think, there would have been a chance, and that chance is there, it's an opportunity. And just picture there being Central Florida versus Florida State in the national championship game. That would have been crazy. And what if Central Florida did win the national championship? It could have happened with how well they played tonight. You never know. And you got to give all the credit in the world to Central Florida. They played outstanding from start to finish. They were well prepared. The defense was well prepared for what Baylor was going to give them. Blake Bortles played great. He was kind of iffy to start the game, but after that, he was specifically in the second half. He played outstanding. And like I said, I was really impressed with their defense, and from start to finish they led, and they never let up, and what a great win over the Big 12 champion Baylor Bears. And also, you got to say congratulations to Baylor. 11 wins, the first time in program history. Art Briles has done a magnificent job there rebuilding that program, or pretty much rebuilding it for the first time. So big shout out to them, great season. But the spotlight tonight is on Central Florida, probably for the first time in program history. The thing that surprised me the most, well, two things really. Wasn't surprised how well Blake Bortles played throwing the football. I was surprised how he ran the football. Pretty much the first couple drives that they scored on, a big part of it was his legs running the football. Had a big run the first drive, which ended up leading to a touchdown in the first drive of the game. But then the running game, just overall, Storm Woods had a great game. Storm Johnson. There's two Storms. Storm Woods, Storm Johnson Storm Woods is the running back for Oregon State. But Storm Johnson had a magnificent game. I think he ran for over 120 yards. I can tell you the complete stat here. 20 carries, 124 yards, 3 touchdowns. They had 255 yards on the ground as a team. 90 came from Blake Bortles, and 30 came from staying back. But what a game. What a great game. You had Hall had 2 touchdown catches, 113 yards. Receivers played great. Catching the football and yards after the catch was magnificent for Central Florida. The receivers were great at it. And then Baylor on the other side, Bryce Petty had a pretty good game, but he was overthrowing deep balls all day long. But you got to give all the credit to Central Florida's defense. Like I said, they played great. They were ready for every opportunity. They limited them in any way they could, and they did what they had to do, and they won. Congrats to George O'Leary in this program, a big win. And yep. Another thing, a big thing in this game really was penalties. Baylor shot themselves in the foot so many times, gave up so many first downs, extra yardage, killed themselves offensively with penalties. They ended up with 17 penalties. 17 penalties. That ended up being 135 yards of penalties. That's almost a touchdown and a half right there off of penalties. That is unacceptable, and somebody's gotta pay for that, because so many times they had something going on offense and they get negated back because of penalty, or there'd be 3rd and long and a pass interference call would happen, an unnecessary roughness call, etc., fill in the blank, and that would allow Central Florida to keep the drive going, end up scoring, and ultimately beating Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl and getting the first ever BCS Bowl win in their first ever BCS Bowl berth. So congratulations to them. Central Florida, I was surprised with how they played on 3rd down too. They converted on over half the 3rd down, so big shout out to them. Great game. And you gotta think, as much crap as the AAC/Big East, well, the former Big East got, with how weak the conference is, they always came out to play in BCS Bowls. I'm pretty sure they're very easily over plus 500 in BCS Bowls, and that's credit to them. They always look at it as the underdog, look at it as a joke, and they come in every time and play well, and normally win their BCS Bowls. And Central Florida was one of the biggest underdogs in BCS Bowl history. It was I think they were a 17-point underdog, and they come out and win by 10 over the mighty Baylor Bears. So congrats to them. Congrats to Central Florida on a huge win, the biggest win in program history. So looking at the stats real quick, 29 first downs for Central Florida to 27 of Baylor, 6 of 11 on third downs for UCF to 9 of 18 for Baylor, 556 total yards for Central Florida, 550 for Baylor, 301 passing yards for UCF, 356 for Baylor, 255 rushing yards for Central Florida, 194 for Baylor. And like I said, penalties was huge. Only 40 yards of penalties on 4 different penalties for Central Florida to 17 for 135 for Baylor. Like I said, that was huge. And turnovers, I mean, Storm Johnson gave up fumbled the ball in a bad position, gave Baylor a good position to score, and the defense stood up, stayed resilient, and they did what they had to do. And Blake Bortles came at you with another bad interception. Well, not really his fault. It got tipped, and they picked it off. But the defense once again came up big. So if you lose the turnover battle, your defense has to step up big and play well when they're backed up into a corner, and that's what they did tonight, and that's why they got the victory. Even though they lost the turnover battle, they did what they had to do. And Blake Bortles was 20 of 31, 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bryce Petty, 30 of 47, 356 yards, and 2 touchdowns and a pick. Storm Johnson, 20 carries, 124 yards, 3 touchdowns. Blake Bortles had 93 yards and 8 carries and a touchdown. O'Shea Seastrunk led Baylor, 17 carries, 117 yards. So I guess I'll end it right there, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the like button if you did, and if you haven't already. If you're a fan of either of these teams, leave a comment in the comment section below with what you think this game means for your program moving forward, and let me know what you thought about this game in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more bowl game coverage. It's going to be coming at you with recaps of every single bowl game this bowl season. And as always, guys, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/S3RTR. Roll Tide, go Sox, and go Titans to you. I'll catch you guys later. Hope you're having a happy new year, even though it's pretty much over. 3 minutes left Central Time. But I'll catch you guys later. Have great holidays. Peace.